Hey everybody, it's me, Remy, the comic book poser. I'm here today to welcome you to Enter the Poseverse. It's Monday, so you know what that means. We are talking about the top 5-ish, because I couldn't count this week, comic books that came out on last week's new comic book day, that if you missed, you should try and pick up on this week's new comic book day. So see what books made the list? You'll check it out after this.
Hey, little girl, did you want to know a secret?
I got 5 on it. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
3 quick announcements. Number 1, don't forget, Whatnot auction at 8 o'clock Central on Thursday night. Number 2, at 9:30 Central, 7:30 Pacific, we are live with episode 6 of Shop Talk. Who knows what we'll get sidetracked about this time. And then next Sunday, the 7th? I don't know. This Halloween today. So a week from Halloween, Sunday night is back in the Poseverse. Is it Shenanigans Sunday? Are we putting up random books? Is the answer yes to both those things? Keep an eye on our social media. So let's talk about my favorite books this week. I couldn't keep it to just 5 books this week. I got 2 honorable mentions. So your first honorable mention from Marvel Comics is Spider-Man 77. This is the first book that Kelly Thompson takes the helm, and it's good. This should have been higher on the list, but I have a couple of indies that are in wrap-up stages that kind of kick this down a little bit, but we start to see really the first solo Ben Reilly issue where there's no Peter Parker showing up. We start to see new villains arise, new limits with the potential of a suit. Very good. The second honorable mention from Image Comics, and I think this came out this week. I don't know. That Image is a hot printing mess right now. So I've got books that came out last week, this week, and it's all over the place, as you saw in the weekly poll. But Vinyl number 5, it is by Doug Wagner, Daniel Hilliard, Dave Stewart, and Ed Dukeshire. As if this book could not get more and more insane, we start to see our killer, the killer that we're endeared to, I guess, since there are a lot of killers in here, respond to the death of the twins, figure out how to take on the cult, figure out how he may liberate the FBI agent, and we figure out the endgame. I also like there was a dope nod in here to Plastic, if you read that, so I like that tip of the cap to the book that preceded this. So I'm very excited to see how this all gets wrapped up in a month in issue number 6. Coming in at number 5 from Marvel Comics is Daredevil number 35. It is the next to last part of the Lockdown arc. It is by Chip Zdarsky, Landini, and Mauricio Menez. We get to see Elektra and Bloody Mary take on, the sea of bullseyes. We get to see Daredevil, finally potentially make it out of the drug that has, made him super angry from prison. We get to see maybe a legitimate threat on Kingpin, that this is setting itself up not just for the end of this arc, but also what the Devils Do event that is happening after issue number 36. Holy crap. This has hands down been my favorite ongoing Marvel title, and if you're not reading it, you've made some kind of terrible life decision. Coming in at number 4 from Image is Philadelphia number 18 by Rodney Barnes, Jason Sean Alexander, Luis NCT, and Chris Mitten. This cover says it all. To see all of the historical forces kind of come at one another to bring yet another bloody throwdown on the streets of Philadelphia is absolutely bonkers to me. To see the way that werewolves play into this, like we finally get a werewolves and vampire story that is not terrible like Twilight is, that I absolutely love this, and the end of the 3rd arc is the heart pounder. I really loved the essay at the back, or the letter from the back, by Rodney Barnes in terms of teasing us with some casting decisions that have been made for the television show, some things that we can expect in the next arc. It comes out in February of 2022, and I will tell you that this is the Image that is making me go, I want to see what Papa Washington has to do in all of this. I can't wait until February. Nita Ha's Nightmare blog also came out this week. The only copy I was able to pick up was the one per store, so I didn't open it. So I'm guessing that book was as banging as this one, but I'm terrified to touch it. Coming in at number 3, another book helping us celebrate spoopy season because it's Halloween weekend. From Boom Studios is House of Slaughter, number 1. I thought there was a very good chance this was going to be my book of the week, only because I have been reading every little morsel that Boom Studios has sent out about this. It's by a lot of the same team who is putting together Something is Killing the Children. The only 2 new names on here are Bromball and Sheenan, and those are... Bromball wrote the script, Sheenan is the illustrator, so we get a lot of good things that are going on in here in terms of looking at the time-hopping tale in terms of what role Aaron starts to play in the House of Slaughter, that we get to see bits of the different colored mask dynamic play its way out in the, current arc of Something is Killing the Children, but we really get to see the black versus the white mask dynamic start to play out in this one, especially when there's a new character who's a white mask that becomes Aaron's friend and potentially lover, but this book took a lot of good turns. Apparently, maybe good luck finding copies of this, because Boom had already announced the week before that this had gone to a second printing, so y'all know I'm going to spend irresponsible levels of money on this one, because I bought damn near every cover that I could get retail, and then I'm going to, pay a bunch of high aftermarket fees for variants on this, because I thought this book was amazing. Coming in at number 2, the other book that I thought had Book of the Week potential from AWA Upshot is Moths, number 5. It's J. Michael Straczynski and Mike Choi again. Here you are starting to see a very interesting dynamic of how Emily plays out in the media, that she goes on like Fox News basically, and gets some interviews where she is asked about empathy and fake feelings and snowflakes and libtards and cucks and all the stuff that you find on the far-right internet. And, she wants to go on there to see if she can be persuasive. Eventually, she decides that she wants to create a massive moment of love in Dodger Stadium. So she rents it out for an event. You find out that this news stadium, that the news entity that she is interviewed on puts some plants in the crowd, basically to make her feel like, fake John Edwards, where there were plants in the crowd and she could read their minds. And holy shit. In issues 1 through 4, you thought you see a full display of Emily's powers. You ain't seen nothing yet. So we know there is 1 month left to go. That's why this is a 6-issue series that each has been, in the countdown to the final months of her life after she's unleashed her powers. I can't wait to see how this wraps up. Again, Mike Choi is hitting an absolute home run in the art department, that this has just been absolutely killer. So what could take down not 1, not 2, but 3 books that I've been absolutely hot on? It's a book you haven't heard me talk about in a hot minute. Your pick of the week from Image Comics is that Texas Blood, number 11. Condon and Phillips have done a good job reeling me back in. That I really, I may have been on the outside on the final issue of the first arc, not really thinking that it wrapped up to be something that I would still be excited about. But this time-hopping arc where we are looking back and forth in terms of, the sheriff's life of fighting against a cult in 1981 is something that is, very, very interesting, and it does a good job kind of bringing the story in, showing that he and the, private investigator that he's with are not crazy. You get to see the depth of the cult in the city, and oh my god, there's 1 more issue left to end this arc, and I hope they stick the landing. That I was soft on, the first arc as it went on from that Texas Blood. Arc 2 has been night and day for me, that I've loved it from the start, that I feel bad for questioning it, that it has been absolutely killer, and I can't wait to see how they wrap the cult arc up in issue 12, and how they set up the next chapter in this tiny little Texas town. What do you think? I know if you're watching this with me in the premiere, then you are talking to me in the chat over here. If not, and you're watching this on the rewind, let me know down in the comments below. You may be able to see the mess behind me that we got, box mountains piling up again, so expect to see a bunch of comics that I picked up, a bunch of pops, some clickbait videos with my kids looking super adorable. So let me know what y'all think. I'll see you throughout the rest of the week. Don't forget about Thursday night in terms of the auction and Shop Talk, or the auction next Sunday. But as always, y'all, thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.
Hey, little girl, did you want to know a secret?
I got 5 on it. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4.